Hey everyone, welcome back to Knit Tea Live, our weekly live stream. Hey Ever, it's good to see you again. We missed you last week. Hope all is going well. Let's see. How many people do we have right now? I don't know. I'm gonna let it be. The YouTube thing is still not working. Anyway. I hope everything, oh gosh, God, sorry. All of a sudden I'm like, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. And I'm going to be honest, this has been a really tough weekend. Yeah, it's been a tough weekend, but you know what? We're here and we can enjoy this time together. And so I'm trying to focus on positives right now. Hey, Whitney, hope you're doing well. So it is Sunday, late morning, early afternoon in Los Angeles. I got my coffee. Our air quality has improved tremendously. I actually have some natural light coming through the window that should help with the overhead camera today. Oh, excuse me. Wrong pipe. Anyway, so today gonna talk a little, just a squidge about the website that we don't actually name. We sometimes talk about it anyway. Yes, I'm talking about Ravelry. They have an update, and I have kind of an interesting personal update about that for myself. So we're gonna talk just a squidge about Ravelry. We're going to have a very special pattern spotlight that will be in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May her memory be a blessing. And I'll show you a little bit updates on my needles if we have time. There's not a ton new going on with my needles, but I figure I'll just show you where I'm at with some projects that I've been showing off and answer any questions you have, of course, and we'll just kind of go from there. So just kind of waiting to see if anybody else arrives. Oh, and of course, don't forget to give this video a like. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I know all of you here right now in the live stream are subscribed to my channel, but if you're watching on replay, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a like. All of these things help support my channel and what I do here at Carrie Craft Geek. Knits where it's at. Hey, Janet. Oh, good. I'm glad it's working better. I know that you were having like problems with delay. Also, let me check my YouTube settings. Hopefully I'm on ultra low latency for this stream. That helps too. But, oh, here it is. YouTube changed their normal latency. Shoot. Okay, so there might be a little bit of a delay that goes on today. I hope that's not correct, but we'll see. I can't seem to change the setting at this point. I try to have everything set so that things come across almost instantly after I say them. So, and of course, as we live stream, if there's any issue with audio, it's too low, it's too hot, make sure that you let me know. Okay, so let's see. What should we start with? I think let's start with, actually, just real quick, any reactions to this week's video? Where I explored the many uses. Do I have any with me? I can't believe I don't have any on my desk. I explored the many uses of the paperclip as a knitting notion. I have to admit, I watched back the video and I watched me reacting to using a paperclip as a stitch holder for a thumb gusset, and I'm sitting there going, am I too excited? Was I a little OTT on that? I might have been, but that was my genuine reaction. I was genuinely that excited about the prospect of using paper clips to hold my thumb gusset stitches when knitting gloves. Hey Bear, it was a great little video, thanks. It was really fun to shoot. I had a great time shooting that video. I hope people enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Well, I had a lot of fun shooting it. Editing was, I'm gonna let you in on a little behind the scenes info, you know. uh, on that video, almost all of the overhead, no, all of the overhead, except I think for one shot, I had to reshoot. Now, everything in the video is real. I recreated the overhead footage. All of it's real. All of it is what I did. What happened was when I shot the video, when I shoot my videos, I shoot a main camera and an overhead at the same time, and then I edit it. The overhead camera was unusable. I know why it was unusable. It was totally my bad, my mistake. My camera husband would be very displeased that I forgot to clean my lens before I started shooting, and that was totally my bad. Anyway, so I got to the end of edit, and I was trying to fix it in post. I was trying to do these things that we do, and it wasn't working. And I finally was like, you know what? I don't want to scrap this video. I love this video. I'm just going to have to reshoot the overhead. So I was up very late Thursday getting that video finished, cutting in the new overhead footage. I'm really proud though, because I will say the overhead footage, if you were to compare the content of the original overhead camera and the reshoot of the overhead camera, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. Yeah. That's why I didn't end up putting in using a paperclip as a cable needle, because I was just like, the video's long, getting along, I just don't care enough to reshoot that particular overhead camera. So anyway, hey Carrie, I'm the queen of knuckle. Hey, I said hi Carrie. Hi Jillian. Jillian, do you prefer Jillian or Evie? Because I watched your live stream yesterday, and I saw people calling you Evie. So I love to call people by the names that they prefer. But yes, I watched your live stream. I saw you clean your lens live on camera. Which, that's part of the fun of doing live stream, is you just never know what's gonna happen. So yeah. Anyway, that's the BTS on the paperclip video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm not quite sure what next Friday's video is going to be, because I didn't end up shooting a video yesterday because it was just like, there was just too much going on in life. Life was happening. My husband had a Zoom meeting. I had a Zoom thing I was trying to do. I ended up writing a last-minute blog, which will be part of the Pattern Spotlight today, and just didn't get to it. I could always shoot a video tomorrow as well, but I do have a vlog of me going to Michael's. So if you're interested in me showing you my vlog of going to Michael's and kind of having some genuine reactions to things that I've seen, let me know, because I think that might be the next video. I've always been kind of wanting to try to do a vlog and see what that response is. You know, I'm still at that stage with this channel where I'm kind of throwing spaghetti up at the wall sometimes to see what sticks. So anyway, let me know if you're interested in a vlog, or if there's any topic you'd like me to cover, because I'm just, yeah. I'm like, I have a bunch of videos in the works right now. Like, I have one more swatch I have to shoot and make for the acrylic yarn review. So I'm very close to shooting that. I'm very excited for that review. Either one is good. In real life, people mostly call me Evie, but I answer to Jillian too. Oh, okay, cool. So, yeah. Yeah, so I have a few videos actually in prep, but nothing I'm quite ready to shoot tomorrow. So you might get the vlog, no matter what you say here. Anyway, so I feel like we got a good group here. So let's talk about the website that I keep saying we won't talk about, but I can't shut up about either. And that is Ravelry. Blah, blah. Ravelry has a latest update called Herdwick. Herdwick is a breed of sheep. I don't know too much about it, but they are calling these different sort of... Stop, back up a little bit. So what Ravelry is now doing, apparently, is creating different skins that members can use to help have a less painful experience, because let's be honest, Ravelry for many people since New Rav has launched has been painful. And so they launched a new skin because that's their logic. And they're calling their skins after breeds of sheep. So the main New Rav skin they're calling Merino. This new one they call Herdwick. So I know I deleted my Ravelry account, and you all saw the screenshot of that, and I genuinely did delete that account. And I am not using Ravelry as part of my knitting life. However, due to my blog and this channel, sometimes I do need to go on Ravelry to look at things, to test things out. At one point, I was thinking about doing kind of a deep dive into the whole Ravelry situation. I needed to grab some screenshots of forum posts. So I created basically a dummy Ravelry account so I could look at those things. What is a skin? The skin is basically the front looking part of the website. So right now, if you were to go onto Facebook, what you see of Facebook, the arrangement of everything, the colors, all of that is the skin. So if you think of a website like a body, like a human body, there's a whole infrastructure underneath of it. There's coding, and coding is like the website's DNA. Then you have what's called a wireframe. The wireframe is kind of like the bones of the website. So that's where the placement of different features, buttons, boxes, that sort of thing are. And the skin is all kind of the aesthetics that go over the wireframe. So that kind of makes sense. So if you ever put your phone into night mode is a skin. If you've ever heard Janet, the design, yes, basically it's the final layer of the design of a website. So that's kind of what a skin is. Like I said, if you look at night mode on your phone or on your computer, that's a skin. And what Ravelry did in launching New Rav, they're doing a whole revamp of Ravelry. That's something you have to kind of understand about the New Rav situation. They are doing a whole redesign of that site. The coding, from what I understand, the coding of the Ravelry website was very hodgepodge. Like, it wasn't, I don't want to make this sound like a bad thing. It's just how Ravelry developed. But it wasn't developed in a kind of venture capitalist planned way where you create an idea for a website and you map out a development plan of like, these are the features we're going to have, these are the ways we're going to roll it out. That's not how Ravelry came about. Ravelry was very much a homegrown project that became something more professional, but the coding, from what I understand, was always kind of hodgepodge, which made things a little difficult for them to add new features. So they're doing a whole redesign and creating a design element. I don't know all the exact, I mean, I'm not a super web tech guru person. This is just information I've picked up. But how they decided to approach this revamp of Ravelry was they started actually with rolling out a new skin. That is what New Rav is. It's a skin. And well, we all know how that's gone. But so they launched a new skin with Herdwick. Through my dummy account, I went on and I switched the mode into Herdwick mode just to see what it would look like, how it functioned. And for the first time, I had a noticeable, undeniable, negative physical reaction to New Rav. And it really took me by surprise. I don't know why Herdwick is giving me this reaction. The main differences between Herdwick and Merino is Herdwick, the colors are more toned down. They're not as dark, they're lighter shades in the palette. and they've turned off the drop shadows. Those are the two main differences. But when I looked at Herdwick, I almost instantly started feeling nauseous and getting almost like just pressure right here in my forehead. And I was like, okay, is this really being caused by this website? I don't recall having any sort of real reaction to this. I mean, my first initial knee-jerk quick glance at New Rav, I liked the overall idea of what they were trying to do aesthetically in terms of making the interface look fresher and more modern. I did think there was way too much white space, and I have never liked that cyan blue color that they put on the buttons. And kind of dissecting it a little bit more, I think the color story makes no sense in terms of where and when they're using colors. Like, there's no discernible logic to it. It's just almost like, well, we'll just make this button blue, and then we'll just make this button this orangey reddish color, and that'll be that. The drop shadows, I always hated the drop shadows. Way too contrast, way too sharp. You look at modern websites today, and the drop shadow is just, if there's a box, there's a little bit of a box just behind it to create a shadow, and it gives a little bit of a 3D feel. Their drop shadows are just really harsh and outdated. They're the kind of drop shadows, frankly, I would have done when I was in high school, laying out my high school newspaper, because when I was in high school, I was co-editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper, and my main job was layout. So I won a national award for it, actually. But yeah, but the white space was really hard to look at, but I could always just kind of zoom into the screen and it would be okay. And on mobile, it was never a problem. But Herdwick, yeah, negative reaction. I wasn't positive if it was the website, so I did a few tests for myself. Not scientific by any stretch of the imagination, but just every couple hours, under different circumstances, look at the website and see the reaction. And about 4 or 5 times of this, and every time experiencing some level of nausea, I just have come to the conclusion that on my desktop, Herdwick and I don't get along. We do not like each other. On the phone, we can sort of interact, and it's like whatever. But yeah. And frankly, I feel like Ravelry is making accessibility so freaking complicated with now just like with these skins, right? And like, we're gonna just try to make things customizable for everybody. And it's just, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I really don't. Now, I had a negative physical reaction to Herdwick. I have seen people, Sarah Dawn of Sarah Dawn's Designs, she's on the Fiber Indie list, she's on Twitch, she's a really sweet person, and she has not liked New Rav at all, and her reaction was Herdwick was like, oh, okay, with Herdwick and this other third-party skin I can kind of use with it, suddenly it's better for me. So, there's a mixed bag of reactions to it, and I just, yeah, I don't get this approach to the whole thing. So yeah, for me personally, Herdwick doesn't work. For some people, Herdwick is working. In order to switch if you are on Ravelry and you want to try out Herdwick, you can log on and you go to your Ravatar. In the drop-down menu, there's a button to switch to Herdwick. So, if you're curious about trying it out, try it out. I can't tell anybody what their reaction might be. I can only tell you my reaction. My reaction was nausea and a slight headache, the intensity of which kind of varied depending on the time of day. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's a mess. And I feel like this whole like multiple skin things is actually making it more complicated. I feel like no website should be this complicated to use. It really shouldn't. So, that's the story with Herdwick. That's the update. Moving on, this actually does lead into our pattern spotlight for today. Yay, something fun. So, I was on one of my many Facebook groups, knitting Facebook groups, and as we know, Friday we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm just going to say right now, I'm a feminist, I'm Jewish. She is like one of my heroes. So her loss was deeply painful, not just because of the current political climate in our country and everything that is at stake, but also just because of what she represented. I mean, Ruth, like, we take for granted almost what we are allowed to do as women in this country. Now, when she was becoming a lawyer, women couldn't sign their own mortgage. Women couldn't get a credit card without their husband or father's permission. Women couldn't open their own bank accounts. I mean, there are so many things women could not do because we weren't considered equal under the law. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her career started with knocking those levers of oppression down. So whether you agree with her on every issue or not, you cannot deny that women in the United States now have more freedom because of the work that she did. So a lot of people in the crafting world are wanting to design or work on what I call I dissent projects, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she wore her robe. She would wear a collar called a jabot. A jabot, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. A jabot is like just like kind of usually a decorative frill to judicial robes, and she had a whole series of them. She was really known for her jabots, and she had particular collar that she would wear when she was in a dissenting opinion. So there have been over time people who have designed knit and crochet projects kind of to in honor of her collars and in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And somebody on my Facebook group came on and said, hey, does anyone have links to patterns for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dissent collars? Naturally, it became a whole list of Ravelry links. Ever. I gave it a try. It's a little better for me, although painful reading how to turn on Herdwick mode. Yeah. Because you got to get through the painful skin to get to the new skin, and yeah. So anyway, I asked people if they had links to non-Ravelry sites for people who can't use Ravelry. That led to a whole discussion. But anyway, long story short, I decided to write a blog post just linking to some of the patterns that were available on alternative sites that you could get without having to go onto Ravelry. So that's what we're going to do with Pattern Spotlight today. A, to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and B, because frankly there weren't a lot of new patterns this week from designers. So if we have time, I'll also hit on a couple of things for fiber happenings, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you some of the patterns. If you want to do a Ruth Bader Ginsburg project, whether it's an I dissent or something else, you'll see what the something else is. We're just going to take a quick look at that. So, Ever, 2020 is the gift that just keeps on giving. I'm not even American, but it was so sad to hear the news. Oh, thank you, Ever. I know. This year is something else. Let's just put it that way. This is a something else. Oh, and also, so Friday, get the news. I was devastated. Like, devastated. And I was up late and working on something, or I probably was just doom scrolling Twitter, and all of a sudden, earthquake. Like, really? Ruth Bader Ginsburg passes away, and there's an earthquake tonight? Oh, and it was Rosh Hashanah. Which was just painful. It was painful. It was a very painful Rosh Hashanah evening. There's a Jewish tradition that when a person dies on Rosh Hashanah, that is an indication that they were, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, a tzaddik, which is a righteous person, but a very righteous person. So yeah, I read that and I lost it. So anyway, let's get ready to do pattern spotlight and have some fun and have some joy, because we still need joy in our life. Here we go. Is this the one I want? Yes. Just getting this set up. Why is that not showing up? Sorry. Come on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Sorry, having a slight technical problem. All right. Hey, I'm back. Okay, am I back? Okay, I should be back now. I hope you all find me. Oh my gosh. Okay, have one concurrent viewer. I don't think that's me. Whew, okay. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this for replay purposes. I've never had this happen before. I'm back. Not happy. Not happy. Okay, hopped over to the new live. Yay. Glad you made it, Samantha. Woo-hoo. This weekend. Oh, hopefully there's a way I can combine the two streams into one continuous thing. Or maybe they'll just be like part 1 and part 2. That's probably what I'll have to do, like part 1 and part 2 live stream. Although, you know what? This was, okay, we're gonna, all right, I'm gonna try it again to get this video thing working. I don't know why it's not working. I'm going to take this out of studio mode, and I think I'm going to have to just do it without studio mode. Maybe that'll work. In a way, though, if this were to crash now and happen now, it's best that it happened now, because it was like right where I'm starting a new topic. Hey, Bear. Glad you're back. Glad you found me. Yay. Yeah. When technology fails, man. When technology fails. So, okay. So we're going to try this again. So normally I use software to stream, and that's what allows me to like switch my views and do all the fancy stuff that I do with my stream. But there seems to be a bug in the system when using some of the elements, because what I like to do is something called studio mode, so that I can preview what I'm about to bring up on to the stream before I actually do it. But I think that's causing a bug with what I'm about to do with Pattern Spotlight, so this is going to be a little rough. So, hey Janet, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back, yay. Okay, we're getting everybody back. So I'm going to start, and we're going to just start with Pattern Spotlight with a special focus on Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Oops, wrong one. Oh no, that's right. Okay, it's playing. Hey. All right, I know what the problem is now. Here we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You can see a photo of her. This is my blog. You can, of course, find a link to my blog in the description box. And we're going to just go to the first project, which is a crochet project, which evokes her favorite, jabot. This is a crochet project. I don't know if any of you crochet or not, but this is a very lacy crochet collar. This would be a very quick project to make if you're at all handy with crochet. This is something you could do in just, I think, a day, maybe 2 days. And it's a lovely just little collar you could add to like a sweater set. Maybe if you plan to vote in person, you could wear this, you know, with your outfit as you wait in line, and just have a little, you know, the spirit of Ruth Bader Ginsburg with you as you vote. Because voting, she had a very powerful dissent in Shelby versus Holder, which is a decision that gutted the Voting Rights Act. So anyway, we would really like to restore the Voting Rights Act if you're interested in voting equality and people having equal access to the polls, which I am. So, I mean, I'm getting a little, just a squidge craftivist today. So ignoring that. So next up, we have a cardigan. Oops. Yes. So next up is going to be a cardigan. This is going to be a knitted project. Just waiting. I'm again doing the video thing where I recorded screen grab so you could see this. And here we go. This is a yoke cardigan. The designer, Andrea Rangel, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. She also has a pullover version of this, and what she did was a stranded colorwork yoke. This very much follows the shape of the famous I dissent collar that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was known for wearing when she would read her dissent from the bench. And it's really just lovely. This is actually a pattern where I'm like, I would actually wear that. I don't tend to knit yoke sweaters because A, I live in LA, I don't have a lot of reason to wear sweaters, but B, I don't like the look of yoke sweaters on me, but a yoke cardigan, that is my jam. So this is actually a project that I'm very interested. Down here is some of the pattern information. This is done up in a worsted weighted yarn. It appears to have a good size range. So if you're interested, this is $10. You can purchase this on her website. And again, there are links to all of these patterns in my latest blog post. I dissent from searching RGB knitting patterns on Ravelry. So next, this is a fun project. I think this project is a project for children, both children in your life or the child in your heart. And that is a Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get that up. Okay, a Ruth Bader Ginsburg doll and finger puppet. So it's two patterns that you receive for $5.75. This is just adorable. I actually really want to make this project. This again is another crochet project, and one thing I really do like doing with crochet is dolls and stuffed animals. This is something that would work up very quickly, and I think it's adorable. I could totally see myself I could totally see myself having this doll like on my desk or someplace where I could just look up, and times when I needed just the spirit of Ruth Bader Ginsburg to, give me some oomph, remind myself that we all have a tremendous amount of inner strength to draw on, I could look up at her and think of what she's given to the world. So thankful for the few degrees cooler in Santa Barbara. I love sweater weather. Agree, Knit One Pug Two, and welcome, Knit One Pug Two. So glad you are here with us. I know it finally has cooled down in California. It was blazing hot. I think that we have one more heat wave that's coming up. This here, I kind of been trying to flip between crochet and knit projects, but I'm doing two crochet projects in one. The next two projects are from the same designer, Carissa, Browning? But this is a cowl, and this is crochet, and it involves baubles and a linen stitch, a crochet linen stitch. I think this is beautiful. It really does evoke sort of jewels, the baubles do. This is great heading into sweater weather. If you want something warm around the neck while you're out and about, waiting in the voting line. Just one more, Knit One Pug Two. Just one more, hopefully. But yeah, I love this project. If I were a crocheter, this project and the next one I'm going to show, 20% of proceeds are going to be donated to the ACLU. So not only can you have a beautiful pattern, you can be involved with supporting a good cause as well. The next project is by the same designer, as I said. It's a cowl. It's another cowl, but this is going to be a knit cowl. And I think this is stunning. And if you're looking at this cowl and thinking, oh no, that looks too complicated. Oh no, 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 contraire, my friend. Trust me, this pattern is a mosaic pattern. If you're not familiar with mosaic knitting is a slip stitch color technique. And it looks similar to stranded color work, but it's not. You work one color in a row at a time. It's so cool. This is one of my favorite knitting techniques. In fact, I will show you one of my mosaic things because it's actually within reach, and I'll show it to you after we're done with this. But yeah, this is beautiful. I think it evokes the feeling of the I Descent collar. It's gorgeous. And again, I love mosaic knitting. Yes, Samantha, yes. Sing it. I love mosaic knitting. It's amazing. It's such a great, great color technique. If you love stranded color work, but you're intimidated by it, or you just don't feel like managing a bunch of strands, mosaic color work is absolutely something to look at. So those are the, let me get here. Those are the Ruth Bader Ginsburg inspired patterns that I found that are not on Ravelry. There is another pattern that I knew about yesterday in my research, but when I went to go look at it, it was not available anywhere off of Ravelry, so it's not on the list. But Louise Tilbrook was in touch with that designer and arranged to purchase the pattern outside of Ravelry, so I need to look a little bit more closely at that situation. If it turns out you can get the pattern somehow without going onto Ravelry, I will update my blog post. But you can find links to all those patterns that we just looked at my blog, which is at knitswhereit'sat.com. It's my latest blog. It is not in Fiber Happenings. It's a little bit more involved building Fiber Happenings, and I was really just trying to get that blog up like very quickly because it was like people who can't access Ravelry now, it's like you need an easy place to go to find where you can find these patterns, because they're all over the place. It is one of the things that's really difficult right now if you can't access Ravelry. There are amazing patterns available on all sorts of platforms, but it can feel overwhelming sometimes trying to find them, you know? So that's one of the reasons I've been doing Fiber Happenings and doing a blog post like this, is just, yes, it's going to be more curated, but hopefully you read my blog post on the value of a curated list and fewer choices. There's science behind not only a feeling, I don't know if you all read my blog post or not, but I touched on it last week's live stream about how sometimes on Ravelry it was just overwhelming, the number of patterns that were available, and I would end up purchasing nothing. And there's actually science behind this, where when people are offered fewer choices, not only are people more likely to make a purchase or a choice, they're more likely to be satisfied with that purchase. So sometimes more is not more. Sometimes more is too much. And so I'm a fan of curation. I am. Sure. Yes, we have time. No. Okay, so real quick, I'm not going to show the screen capture videos on these, but I do want to highlight a couple things from Fiber Happenings. You can absolutely go to my website, knitswhereit'sat.com/TFIL. That's the Fiber Indie List main page, and on there is Fiber Happenings. And two new things that went up on this past week. One is a new crochet pattern by Fierce Hooks, and it's beautiful. It's a triangular asymmetrical shawl that has some crocodile stitch patterning on it. It's inspired by dragons. It's really beautiful. And the other thing I wanted to highlight is Louise Tilbrook. She has a special sale going on for a collection of 3 patterns inspired by fall. One is a blanket, a cowl, and a pair of socks. Gorgeous. They're gorgeous. They're yummy, yummy, crunchy autumn leaves gorgeous. So check out Fiber Happenings for links to all of that. And if you're interested in crochet, interested in design, make sure to follow Fierce Hooks and Louise Tilbrook because, yes, very talented designers. Very, very talented. And, of course, they are both on the Fiber Indie list. Okay. So I think next up, we are going to be looking at, first of all, let me show you the mosaic. It's going to be a little tough to see because this is kind of a dark pattern, but since we're talking about mosaic, I'll show you another example of it, and I can show you the back of the work, and you can start to get an idea of how this works. Oh, yes, Cat already died. Yes, I did. I am aware of that. Thank you for reminding me, Janet. Let's take a moment of silence for Cat Bordy. I forgot when I was grabbing things to bring in for the live stream. Not in person. I did a Craftsy class with Cat Bordy. Craftsy is coming back of Mobius knitting, and in her honor, I will make clear that a true Mobius strip is a 90-degree twist, and if you accidentally twist your stitches while joining in the round, that is a 180-degree twist, and it is not a Mobius. That is for Cat Bordy that I am saying that, because I learned that from Cat Bordy, and she was an amazing teacher. Like I said, I never met her in person. I just did the Mobius class, and it was just, she just radiated, even through a computer screen, just joy and warmth, and the knitting world is lesser. It's a lesser place. We're going to bounce back, but it's not quite going to be the same without Cat Bordy. But thankfully, we have videos still with her and patterns that she's created, and, you know, her spirit's going to live on. She'll live on through what we do and carrying her work forward. So I'm sad I forgot to bring in my Cat Bordy, my Mobius cowl. I meant to bring that in to show you all in honor of Cat Bordy. So anyway, it makes me sad. But we are going to look just real quick at this Mobius project because I just happen to have it here. And you can see the back of what a mosaic pattern looks like. Just if you're not familiar with it. By the way, hopefully the lighting's going to be better on my overhead camera. Oh yeah, it's going to be so much better now. So here's this is mosaic knitting. This yarn is Leicester Blue Face, which is a breed of sheep. I got this in London the last time I was in London, so this was kind of souvenir yarn that I bought. This pattern is one of the patterns I did with it. I cast it on using a long tail cast on, and then I did a Latvian braid and then went up into this mosaic pattern. And this is what the back of it looks like. This is what the wrong side, goes like. Bag just flew off my desk. But this is what the wrong side looks like. And you can see there's no stranding. Well, that's not exactly true. There's very little bits of stranding. Like this right here. I'll bring this up. That technically is a strand. Yeah, right? I figured out the lighting situation ever. I had you in mind while I was doing it. But this is what the back looks like. And this is created, you knit each row with just one color. And what you do is, like, say I'm on a green row, right? I knit the stitches that I'm supposed to knit that are green. and then the color B, this cream color, ecru color, gets slipped across the row. And you do 2 rows in one color, then you switch to the second color, and you follow the chart pattern, knitting what you're supposed to in the ecru, and then slipping the dark green. So it's a slip stitch pattern. It's very easy to do. When you do mosaic knitting, you generally do it from a color chart, but the color chart's very easy to read. It's very easy to read. So if you're interested in doing some kind of stranded color-like project, you can always try a mosaic colorwork project. The only thing with mosaic knitting is you are limited to how many stitches you can, actually I'll show you again. You're kind of limited to how many stitches you can slip in one row. Like this actually has some longer slip stitches. At one point you're slipping like 3 or 4 color stitches before you knit again. And so there's just limits to how long any block of color can go across a row. Because once you start getting past, depending on the gauge, 4 or 5 stitches, you're into stranded color work at that point. Janet, strand or float, is there a difference? There's really not. I don't think. A float, a strand, it's pretty much the same thing. The float is the strand of yarn that just comes behind the fabric as you knit. So a lot of times it's called a float because it's floating across, but I use it in a straight I can't talk. Interchangeably. But yeah, Fair Isle is a type of stranded color work, and it's called stranded color work. But yes, the strands that go behind the work that float across are usually referred to as floats. But yeah. So that's mosaic, and I love this pattern. In fact, this is a pattern that I did a very early on when I was first starting to try things. I have an Instagram video, very fast, of me blocking this project. So, and let's see, this is where I'm at. If you remember, a few live streams ago, I showed you guys a kind of beginner's was going to be a scarf, and then I decided to change it into a cowl. So I'm going to just show you where I'm at with that right now. And oh gosh, yes, the lighting is so much better. So I finished the trellis section here, right? So you can see that, and then I did a new section here of just kind of this kind of just a combination of garter and eyelet, which I just think is kind of cool. And my idea behind this was to give new knitters an opportunity to just kind of get their feet wet with both doing yarn overs, but also learning decreases. And then up here is the next section, which is going to be this diamond motif. But the thing is, this is the same stitch pattern as this section. It's just because I started this stitch pattern on a different row. Well, I didn't start with a different row. I started the same row, but I started it on a different side of the work. And so the diamond side of the stitch pattern shows up on the right side. But then on the wrong side, now is the trellis work. And then down here, you can see the diamond pattern. Flip it back to the right side, and you've got the trellis pattern. And this is something that's just kind of really cool that you can do with knit purl combinations, is you can get these reversible stitch patterns that have different motifs depending on what side you choose to make the right side and the wrong side. So I just think that's kind of a neat thing that can happen with some reversible stitch patterns, and it's just a very simple knit purl combination. So it is the kind of thing where if you are a beginning knitter, you can absolutely, if you know how to do knit and purls and you know how to bring your yarn to the front of the work without creating yarn overs by accident, you can absolutely do that type of reversible stitch pattern. And it's just it's one of the things I love most about knitting is there's so many amazing, beautiful things that you're able to create, and yet the techniques to do them is actually really simple. Like, most things to knit aren't actually that complicated. So you at just a very beginner level can just start doing amazing works that most people will be like, oh my God, how did you even do that? So that's always fun. Next, I'm going to just show you where I'm at with the tunic, which I've been showing you. Nothing really, I'm still in the shaping. I'm still just shaping this, but I've gotten further along. So here it is so far, just shaping this. So yeah, it looks beautiful. Although I'm very impressed with myself. Over here, I can't even remember, I think it might have been down here. I had I'd split the fibers on one of the strands of yarn, and where I'd split the fiber was below the cross. Right here, the stitches cross each other. And I was like, I don't want to frog all the way back to fix that yarn, but I've got to fix the yarn. So I did. I dropped my stitches down, fixed the split fibers, got everything realigned properly, and then worked my way back up with a crochet hook, a real crochet hook, not a paper clip, and worked my way up. And I was so proud of myself. I was just so proud of myself that I managed to fix that with a crochet hook and not have to frog my entire work. So I'm always very pleased with myself when I do complicated repairs like that with a crochet hook, even though sometimes I sit there and I'm like, I could have just frogged back and worked up and it would have been way faster, but I'm stubborn that way. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at now. We only have a few more minutes left on today's live stream. I'm going to turn this light off now because I think I'm done with the overhead. Anybody have any questions, comments, suggestions? I'd love to hear them before we wrap things up, kind of opening the floor up. Really kind of bummed the way the live stream got disrupted that way, but it happens. I don't know what my latency. Good job on the successful fix. Thank you, Bear. Thanks. I know, at some point I should probably, everything's like, some point I should do a video on that. It's so funny sometimes when I'm sitting there going, why are you struggling to decide what to shoot next? There's so many videos that you haven't made that you can make. And then, but the other part about me is like, well, yeah, but I actually have to choose one. And I can be a bit of just a squidge of a procrastinator, just a little bit. So anyway, trying to give this a couple minutes. I don't know what my latency is right now. Oh, I'm on normal, so this is gonna be a really long delay. Bear, oh, the link on your page for the salt dough recipe has the DP link. I think I fixed that. I hope I did. I will check again, but I thought I had fixed that. But I love the salt dough. Oh, by the way, I meant to bring it in, but I haven't. But I have made the disc for my drop spindle. So I've been waiting for that to dry. It's taking freaking forever because I don't know why it's taking this long. It shouldn't. It may be done drying, and I'm just not used to the feel of magic, Model Magic. I use Model Magic to make a whirl for a drop spindle. I'm not used to working with Model Magic, so I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to feel like when it's dry, because Model Magic doesn't dry hard the way that regular air dry clay does. So anyway, I'm done giving it any more time to dry out. I need to just now need to glue my spindle into the whirl. Once that's dry, I have my roving in. It showed up. So I will be setting up my camera You all will see at least an edited version of me trying to drop spindle for the first time. Now, I don't think that's going to be this week's coming up video because I don't know how long it's going to take me to successfully create yarn, but you will get to see it. I will document the process, I promise. I am perfectly happy to let you all see my what the hell is Carrie trying to do now flubs and successes. Ever. A person who has a ton of unfinished knitting project has a ton of on-shop video ideas. Shock. Ever, like, I feel a little shaded right now. Like, I feel like I need to turn up a lamp because of the shade I just got thrown at me. But it's true. But hey, I got the videos. They keep coming. And you know what's so funny? It's like the paperclip video. That was not the video I planned to shoot that morning. But I think that turned out to be one of my best videos, truthfully. Bears, yay! Yeah, I hope that's, yeah. But yes, I will definitely double check that salto recipe link. I know, at some point, just throw it up at my list of, at some point I should do this. Anyway, at some point I should take that like recipe and actually lay it out on the web page so it's not just downloading the PDF, but it's just, frankly, when I built the fiber indie list, that became quite a bit of a time taker. And that's fine because I'm really happy to be doing it, and hopefully it's being helpful for people. And so, you know, I just had to sort of rearrange my time and what to dedicate what to. But the good thing is there's a project that I've been working on the past month that is now off my plate. It is finished. Not ready to share it with all of y'all, but I will. It's just not quite ready to be shared. It's not a huge thing. It's something I'm proud of just because it was something unexpected that entered my life. But yeah, it did take some time. And yeah, that's what happens. Ever. No, it means you are very imaginative. It's a good thing. Thank you, thank you, Ever. That's so sweet. Bear, still excited for the mermaid gloves too. Yes, yes, that is on the hopper. That's not on the, at some point I gotta do this board. That is on the hopper. I'm gonna be writing up that pattern this week and then getting stuff organized because I really would like to do a knit along with all of y'all. But I've got it figured out in terms of where we can do it that's not Ravelry, that's not Facebook. And I'm just not quite ready to give all the details yet, just because I'm that way. But yes, this week I am going to be writing up the mermaid glove pattern, and yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay. Sadly, we are at the end of our time this weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this has been an enjoyable time for you as well. If you're watching this on playback, please give this a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We do Knit Tea Live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Normally, it's just one long live stream, but we had technical difficulties, so I think there's going to be a part 1 and a part 2. That's fine. We roll with the punches here. Let me get all my plugs in. I do have affiliate links down in the description box. I should have said that earlier, but I do have some affiliate links down in the description box. Affiliate links help support my channel and the Fiber Indie list and all the things that I am doing with my knitting stuff publicly. And if you would like to help support the channel and you're looking to buy something from one of my affiliates anyway, clicking on one of my links can help, and it's greatly appreciated. If you'd like more information on affiliate links, what programs I'm in, why I'm using them, please check out my FAQ at knitswhereitsat.com, also linked in the description box. If you would like to leave me a tip, you can always buy me a coffee, because I do drink coffee to get through life. Again, You don't have to, or anything. It's just if you would like to help support the channel. But of course, just being here, interacting with me, liking my videos is such a tremendous support, and I appreciate it so, so much. On Wednesdays, I do a weekly blog at knitswhereit'sat.com. Everything's at knitswhereit'sat.com. But I do have a weekly blog. I'm not exactly sure what this week's blog is going to be about. I do not think it will be about paper clips. And I already did Ruth Bader Ginsburg, so we will find out what inspiration hits me. Maybe it'll be about mosaic knitting. Maybe I'll do a blog post about mosaic knitting. So I hit the blog, you can find all my social media down in the description box. I am active on Twitter, Instagram, I have a Facebook page. Everything will either be Knits Where It's At or Carrie_craftgeek. It's one of those twos. I was bad when I was setting all this stuff up, and I didn't just make a choice, and that was on me. So I have to live with that error. And yeah, I think that's all my plugs. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have wait, before I do that, okay, let me get that set up. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, weeknight, whenever you may be watching this. And as always, happy health and happy knitting. Bye.